It doesn't take a lot to notice that Nebuchadnezzar has a really big ego. He decides to make a big idol and to have everybody worship it. And he says, "You are to fall down and worship the golden image that King Nebuchadnezzar has set up. And whoever does not fall down and worship shall immediately be cast into a burning, fiery furnace." This happens all over the world, where people are told that they will be killed, they will be tortured, they will be put through unthinkable circumstances if they don't give up their beliefs. So this is not something that has happened a long time ago in this era, and it doesn't happen again. It's happening right now. Right now, as you're watching this, it's happening to someone in this world in real time. And if you would like to be able to be on the front lines in prayer for them or support an organization that encourages them, then I encourage you to go to Open Doors, and I'll put the link below. "These men, O king, pay no attention to you. They do not serve your gods or worship the golden image that you have set up, because they're not polytheistic. They believe in the one true God, Yahweh." And then Nebuchadnezzar asks them, "Is this true?" In verse 14, "O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you do not serve my gods or worship the golden image that I have set up?" He can't believe it. And in a lot of ways, don't we do that? Being polytheistic is happening even today. If you think it only happens in Asia, you are kidding yourself. Look around you and even look in your own life. Aren't there things that you worship? And in this case, it's not very far-fetched from what they're worshiping: iron, bronze, gold, silver. Can't you think of a lot of things that we bow down to that are made of those materials? And look at verse 16. "Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they answer the king, they say, 'O Nebuchadnezzar, we have no need to answer you in this matter. If this be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of your hand, O king. But if not, be it known to you, O king, that we will not serve your gods or worship the golden image that you have set up.'" So they're saying, look, I'm not even going to make excuses. We don't worship your God. We will never bow down. We're not going to play your game. You throw us in the furnace, one of two things will happen. Either God will deliver us, and if God doesn't deliver us, then let it be a statement to you that we just don't serve other gods. Sometimes God puts us in circumstances where we have trial, and there may not be rescue ever, or there might be a long suffering time until we see rescue. But regardless of the case, whether there's rescue or not, whether there's an outcome that we want or not, what we're called to do is to serve God and to acknowledge that he is the one true God and the Lord of lords and the King of kings. Then we see Nebuchadnezzar's face change. And then he ordered the furnace to be heated 7 times hotter than it normally is. He's going to extremes here. He is angry that they are not submitting to him and not playing his game. They're thrown into the fiery furnace. Then the guards who had to take them up to the fiery furnace, it was so hot just going in the vicinity that they burned up and died. Then verse 24, "King Nebuchadnezzar was astonished and rose up in haste. He declared to his counselors, 'Did we not cast 3 men bound into the fire?' They answered and said to the king, 'True, O king.' He answered and said, 'But I see 4 men unbound, walking in the midst of the fire, and they are not hurt, and the appearance of the 4th is like a son of the gods.'" I find it really cool that whether you're a believer or not, when you see the Son of God, Jesus, you see the Son of God. You know who he is. "Come out from the burning fiery furnace, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants of the Most High God." This is their identity. They are servants of the Most High God. "Come out and come here." The fact that the king of Babylon knew that this description was linked to who they are, it's a big thing. So they came out of the fire. All the important royalty gathered, and they saw the fire had not had any power over the bodies of those men, and the hair of their heads was not singed, their cloaks were not harmed, and even no smell of fire had come upon them. Nebuchadnezzar answered and said, "Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel and delivered his servants who trusted in him, and set aside the king's command and yielded up their bodies rather than serve and worship any god except their own God. For there is no other God who is able to rescue in this way. For there is no other God who is able to rescue in this way." That's the kind of God I serve. A God who can be recognized whether you are a believer or not. He is the I am, and who he is shows. Isn't that the kind of God you want to follow? He's not only justice and creator and ruler and sovereign almighty divine power, But he also shows such love and grace and mercy and kindness. This is a God who joined these guys, and he goes into the fiery furnace with them. Those who are willing to be persecuted for the name of Christ, in this case for Yahweh's name, the one and only true God, he goes in there and he's with them. He's the with us God. He is Emmanuel here. He is displaying himself as the with us God, never leaving us nor forsaking us, even in the midst of a fiery furnace that is 10 times hotter than it normally should be, because you are willing to stand up and worship the one true God. Evil is not your friend. Evil hates you. Evil wants to kill you and destroy you. And Jesus is coming into the fiery furnace with you. He doesn't stand out there and says, "Don't worry, I got this." No, he goes in there with you. Wow. For there is no other God who is able to rescue in this way.